Personate, I was just thinking about that. Now Silvet very seriously tells him, I, the last of my family, do solemnly pledge myself to you, last of the Bagamins. You are the last of your family, and I'm going to be the last one of my family. And here on this occasion, let me pledge myself to you. Personat gets astonished hearing this and he calls recklessness. Personat feels astonished hearing this and he says, oh, come on, what recklessness it is. Recklessness is rashness. You're not thinking about the consequences of your action. How can you do that? How can you say that? Silbert, after we die, we shall be sung in future ages. I don't mind killing myself for the sake of love. So after we die, we will be celebrated in the coming years, in future ages, as Romeo and Juliet are celebrated till date. Personally, yeah, that's right. People will say that two tender children of two cruel fathers, so they'll always remember us, saying that the two tender children had to sacrifice themselves because of their two cruel fathers. Sylvan. But who knows where the hour is not at hand when our fathers hated me in. Silver is a bit optimistic. She says, I don't know whether the hour is not at hand when our fathers hated me. And I feel somehow that tomorrow, day after, or after some time, or very soon, the hatred of fathers is going to have an end. Silhouette. Who knows where the hour is not at hand when our fathers hated may end? I'm very sure that soon our fathers will stop hating each other. Personette doesn't share her optimism and he says, I doubt it. Silver. I have heard of strange things in my life. I can think of half a dozen examples, instances. Say in our life, life is full of such strange things. I can say so many things like this. I can cite so many examples of this kind. Uh, Personate, for example, can you give me one instance? Silhouette. Imagine that the reigning prince comes riding past someday. I run to him and kneel before him, tell him the story of our love and of our father's hatred. The prince asks to see my father, Bagamin, and they are reconciled. Now, Silver says, one day I ran into the reigning prince of our country. I kneel before him, I touch his feet and tell him the story of our love and of our father's hatred. Then the good prince will agree to see my father and talk to him about it, and with his intervention, they'll be reconciled. I hope to see them reconciled with the intervention of the prince. Personette. And your father gives me your hand then. Yeah, that's right. After they are reconciled, your father will allow you to marry me. Is it? Silver. Oh, yes. Or else you languish. The doctor declares you cannot live. Otherwise, if this doesn't happen, if the prince doesn't come and help us, you languish, you suffer so much, and you lose your health, you fall ill because you are madly in love with me, and you are taken to your doctor, and the doctor declares that you cannot live without me. Personette. Yes, the doctor will ask me, what ails you? What troubles you? What is wrong with you? Silhouette. Then you will say, I must have silhouette if I have to live in this world. Personate. And his pride is then forced to bend. When your father comes to know that you are going to die, if you do not marry me, then his pride is forced to bend. Silhouette. Yes, or else an aged duke. This is a third instance. The first one, a duke may come and save us, rescue us. The second one, you will languish and go to a doctor, and the doctor will tell your father that if you don't marry me, you will die. If that doesn't happen, if both of these things do not happen, an aged duke may see my portrait. After seeing my photograph, portrait, painting, an aged duke falls in love with me and sends his messenger squire attendant to claim my hand and offers to make me a duchess. An aged duke, having seen my portrait, falls in love with me, and then he sends his attendant to take me to his court, saying that he'll make me a duchess. Personate. Then you will say no. You will say you can't marry a duke. Yes, definitely, Silver says. Yes, then he'll feel bad, he'll be offended, and some dark night when I am in the garden meditating, he springs forth out of darkness and I scream loudly. So one day, when I say no to him, no to the Duke, he'll feel offended. And one night, dark night, I'll be sitting in the garden meditating. At that time, he comes forth from somewhere, from nowhere, to take me away, to kidnap me. Then I scream loudly, prisoner. Yeah, that's right. At that time, I lose not a second in springing over the wall, dagger, sword in my hand. I fight like a tiger and I will save you. Personage says, is when you are in danger, when the Duke comes down to kidnap you, I'll appear on the scene. I'll take out my dagger and fight with the Duke. I will fight like a tiger with the Duke and rescue you from old man. Silver, you lay 3 or 4 men. I know you're very courageous, you're very strong. You defeat 3 to 4 men who belong to the Duke's group. Then my father comes in, takes me in his arms. You tell him who you are. His heart softens. He gives me to my savior. That is you. Your father agrees, for he is proud of your bravery. Then Silver says, after you defeat 3 to 4 men who belong to the Duke's group, then my father rushes in and takes me in his arms. Then you introduce yourself to my father. You tell him who you are, how you came to my rescue. Then my father's heart softens. He gives me to my savior, that is you. Then your father also agrees because he is very proud of your bravery. Person. Then we live together for years, happy and content. Then we can get married, we can live together, happy and content. Sylvette, this is not at all impossible, is it? Then Sylvette is asking person, what do you think about my stories? Do you think these things are impossible? Person say, oh no, stop, somebody is coming now. So, but she's not so serious. She's not so frightened. She's not so serious. Silver says, forgetting herself, oh, just kiss me. Person kissing her. This evening at 8, then, as usual, you will come. Person says, will you see me this evening again? So we have sat together throughout the night. Tonight again, will you come and meet me? Silver disappearing behind the wall. Oh, your father! Person jumps quickly from the wall and enter Bagaman, person's father. Father says, oh, I find you here again. I always see you sitting here, dreaming in this corner of the park. Why you don't have any other place to sit? You always come and sit in this corner. Person says, Father, I love this old corner. I love this bench over which the creepers of the wall have so gracefully decorated, covered themselves. Father, I love this corner of the park because I can see so many vines, creepers gracefully covering themselves. The wall is covered with the creepers. See what graceful arabesque. Arabesque is an ornamental design consisting of intertwined lines of creepers. See what graceful arabesque these festoons make. Festoon, a chain of flowers, a garland of flowers. See, look at the creepers, look at the flowers there. It looks like a garland. The air is purer here. I love to sit here because of flowers and the creepers and the plants. The air is purer here, better here. Bagaman, by the side of this wall? Oh, what do you mean? I love it, Personette repeats. Bagaman, I say nothing laughable about this corner. Silver tells himself, oh, you don't know why. You can't see. He can't see why I love this wall. He doesn't know the real reason. Person, but it's charming, all covered with ivy. Ivy is a plant. But it's charming, all covered with ivy and creeper. See here, what honeysuckle. Father, can you see the honeysuckle growing here? Honeysuckle is a shrub with colorful, fragrant flowers. So can you see the honeysuckle growing here? This 100-year-old wall with its clinging creepers, its collection of flowers, constellation of flowers like stars in the sky, looking through the crannies. Crannies are small openings kissed by the summer sun, makes a bench a throne fit for kings. So, Personette is in a romantic mood and he beautifully describes the scene in the corner of the park. He says, I love this wall because the wall is covered with vines, creepers, and there are many kinds of plants and shrubs nearby. There's got a constellation of flowers, and these look through the crannies on the wall, kissed by the summer sun, and makes his bench in the corner a throne fit for kings. That's why I love to come and sit here.